explain from the moment somebody calls you to do a session to you sitting down with the session, how the files or the band plays, and then what they want out of the session? Can you give them a typical LA studio session these days?
Yeah, for me, people have gotten used to having musicians on demand. There used to be a lot more scheduling involved with being a guitar player. Now they'll schedule the drums and bass, and really the main reason for this is budgets are smaller. You know, the whole industry's consolidated quite a bit. So people literally look up from their console or their computer and they go, we need guitar, who do we get? So it happens very spontaneously, and I end up working every day, but I'm not booked that much in advance. Brent might have a different experience, because in Nashville I think things are still somewhat like they used to be, which is a good thing in a lot of ways. But people literally look up from what they're doing and say, we need a guitar player. So I don't take any vacations, and I just, my phone rings, and I try and squeeze people in when I can. And the way I'm able to do that now is I do most of my work in my home studio. So what it is I tell people, first of all, I try not to work alone, because there's really not that much joy in it for me. I try and make sure people are willing to drive over. I say, put your hard drive on your passenger seat of your Porsche or whatever, and drive to my house, and we'll do the session, because I don't want to do it alone. And so what happens is they show up at 10 in the morning, and for me, inside of about 2 hours, most of my work is overdubs at this point. I do a lot of tracking, but, well, I still do some tracking, and it still happens. It's still really the greatest joy is getting in a room with musicians. But we've all adapted to this new world, and so at 10 a.m., some people show up at my house, and I have my setup ready to go, so within 5 minutes, we're recording. And what I try and do is in about 2 hours, I try and send them out the door with a song that sounds like a record. So I layer, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 guitar parts, and I try and send them away quickly with a song that sounds like it can be played on the radio. So,
do they leave you a piece of paper with a signature on it?
What do you mean?
Like a check?
Yeah, that's the thing, is that how do I put this? Whatever it's expensive to hire a musician, and so that's why it has to be done fast, and you want to keep the momentum going, and that's actually part of what makes for great music. You want to get it done quickly so you don't think about it too much. Yeah.
Can I describe your rig to them?
Sure.
Right. It's up in this really nice kind of lofty bedroom area over the garage, and he's got the pedals sitting in front of him up in the air. There's Neve and Mike Prees and the whole rack of outboard gear behind him, and he's got 2 speakers sitting here. In the basement of the garage, there's an ISO cabinet, so he's got...
There's a vault, big vault.
Big vault of things. Yeah. And then he's got a chair on the other side of the whole rig with 2 speakers pointed at that guy. So he's got the guy, the producer, staring at him across the rig. It's one hell of an airplane seat he's got set up.
Yeah, it's like an airplane cockpit.
Yeah, right.
And then the people who hire me sit across from me, and that's all for momentum, because if I can look in their eyes and judge how much they like or dislike what I'm doing, I can change it quickly. And all these little decisions, if you can speed them all up, then it just makes everything go faster. Plus, I spent my whole career staring at people's backs, and I wanted my home studio. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Greg stares at me his ass the entire time that we're playing, right? And he says, I know that ass well, I'm looking at it the whole game.
But it's a big room, and I really like recording at home because I have natural light. That's the other thing about studio work. You spend your whole life in windowless rooms, and that's one of the nice things about working at home, is there's a lot of natural light. So.